When in Rome, do as Romans do. I believe every countries have different things. So it might be hard for you to understand what's it like. Yeah.
And maybe that's a hard part about moving to a different culture, is realizing some of the things that you take as normal and as okay are suddenly not okay.
Yeah. But that's how you get to explore the world.
So first thing of things that are okay in the United States but are not okay in Japan are tattoos.
Tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos.
I don't have any tattoos either.
I thought about getting a tattoo for a long time, but then after we started dating and I spent some time in Japan, I realized, no, that's never gonna happen. Because
I would cry when I get tattoos.
for a long time in Japan, tattoos were connected to gangs. And even though today there's a lot of people who have tattoos that aren't related to gangs, it is still prohibited in a lot of public areas. So places that you can't go with a tattoo is hot springs, water parks, and some beaches. And there's exceptions to all of these. Personally, I've never been to a pool, outdoor, indoor, or hot springs in Japan that has allowed tattoos. I know that they exist, I just haven't found any of them yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
We have friends that have tattoos, and so they know where to go. It's a little harder to find. And I know preparing for the 2020 Olympics, some onsen and hot springs are going to start allowing tattoos, but only if they're small enough to be covered by a certain badge.
Yeah. It is changing more and more, or yeah, accepted, being accepted, but still people think associate tattoo with kind of gang.
Even if it's like a flower or Hello Kitty or something, it's just, I guess that's something to watch out for. If you're in Japan and you have a tattoo, make sure wherever you're going is okay with tattoos.
Yeah, because you don't want to pay and then get kicked out.
Yeah.
When I was in America, in Miami, my favorite place.
That was a really fun trip.
I was so surprised to see so many people wearing with tattoos. You know? Like flowers.
And incorrect Japanese, like Japanese phrases that aren't translated correctly.
Oh yeah, we played that game. Is it Japanese? Number 2, changing orders at a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Japanese,
what do you mean by changing orders, first of all?
Like asking more specific orders. They're not as flexible as American restaurant. It's kind of hard to ask for like, oh, I can't eat like a green pepper, so can you change? No green pepper, and then add carrots instead and such. Or like no cheese, no meat, and they sometimes do, but it's not that common. I have been told no, either leave or eat what we serve. Whenever I ordered pizza in Japan, people often like, because we have to get cheeseless pizza for Grace, and then like, no cheese? What do you mean by no cheese pizza? And oh, this my wife can't eat cheese, and like, that wouldn't be pizza. And
I'm like, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Really
so you know, yeah, that's exactly what we want, and so watch out. That's for sure. It's depending on places, seriously, and some places would say like flat out no, and some places like, let me ask my manager.
Where America, I feel like, is the king of have it your way. I think a lot of people in America have food allergies or food restrictions, either because of personal reasons or because of religious reasons. It's like every time I go out to a restaurant with friends, everybody's like, okay, I'm gonna have this but without the green peppers, or I'm gonna have this but can you give me extra sauce and none of that. It's a cultural difference. Number 3 along those lines is not finishing your food. At a restaurant.
So what do you mean by that?
Culturally, I feel like you're supposed to finish what's on your plate, and that's, if you don't finish it, it's rude. Like when we go out to a restaurant, if I can't finish everything on my plate, he'll eat it just because he doesn't want to leave it on the plate. It's just a harder stigma of leaving food. And at some restaurants, when I've asked for a doggy bag or a takeaway bag, sometimes they'll just flat out say, no, you can't do that. And yeah, I'm not quite sure why.
It's a different culture. In elementary school, junior high, we had kyushoku, and kyushoku is like school lunch that we were provided with. And so actually most of the teachers tell you finish entire meal. So it's just, some people don't like natto, some people don't like milk. Teachers get mad at you if you switch or if you leave, and sometimes you can't go play outside unless you finish your meal.
And everyone gets the same food, right?
Yeah, same food. So I often used to kind of trade, I can drink your milk if I like milk, so I'll just drink your milk.
That's why you had so many friends.
Yeah, you don't like milk, and I'm the guy. I think that's one of the reasons too, why we kind of automatically know.
You guys have to eat everything. I hadn't even thought about that.
That's how I got lots of milk, and
that's why you're so tall.
Number 4, talking on the phone in public.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
By public, I mean trains or lots of transportation. There is an announcement says refrain from talking on the phone.
And they make the announcements on the train.
So
in English and in Japanese that say don't use your phone on the train. Turn it on silent mode. Like sometimes in Japan, what you'll see is if someone calls and they're on the train, they'll pick it up and be like, I'm sorry, I'm on the train, I'll call you back. And just hang up.
Because otherwise...
Yeah, it's really frowned upon.
I think Japan is big on being respectful others, like
in the public
consider
space,
consider it, like don't kind of ruin the united circle or something.
The group is more important than the individual, where I feel like in America, the individual is more important than the group. So I personally find it rude to talk on the phone for like more than a couple of minutes in public or on a train, but I feel like I'm probably the minority of Americans because everyone else seems to do it. So
in New York on subway, to me it was rather noisy because people talking on the phone or just chatting loudly, and I was like, oh, and then there was no announcement, so I was I that's how I noticed. Oh, okay, different rules, makes sense.
Number 5, PDA, otherwise known as public displays of affection. Yay!
Icha.
I'm gonna scandalize everyone. It's not a surprise that Japan and America have very different levels of what constitutes as PDA and what people are comfortable with. We actually did an entire video about this, PDA in Japan versus America. Click somewhere in here. This was when we both first started vlogging, and so it's actually a pretty awful video. Just warning you.
We still make awful videos.
Don't judge us. I know, we do. We're not supposed to admit it, honey.
Okay. Never mind.
PDA in the United States, I feel like most people are comfortable holding hands, hugging. Sometimes like when you see someone, you'll go and kiss them on the cheek. That kind of stuff's okay. Or just the general like light touches. So if you're at a party or you're at a friend's house, and if I'm walking behind him, I'll kind of touch him on the back, or if he's walking behind me, he'll put his hand on the small of my back to like help me through doors, and it's just casual touches that you do when you're romantically involved.
I like touching things.
Don't say
that.
That
sounds kind of...
I'm gonna have to cut that out.
Yeah. I didn't mean,
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna stop there. But in Japan...
In Japan, what?
PDA, you don't see it as much. And I mean, that being said, it is changing recently. Like when we were in Ikebukuro the other day, we actually saw a couple like making out, and we were both like,
yeah, like for a minute.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, oh my experience.
Yeah.
Some people like to keep it kind of secret, and people can choose whether they want to be kind of go public or not.
They want everyone to know they're dating or not,
Yeah, it's last but not least. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Last but not least, wearing shoes inside. If you're interested in Japan, I think this is one of the first things you learn about Japan.
You take your shoes off when you enter the house.
Yeah, but this also applies to hospitals, clinics, sometimes offices, right? And
co-working spaces.
And shrines, those places you have to take off your shoes.
So even when I got LASIK eye surgery a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that, when you go into the clinic, you have to take off your shoes and you put on slippers, and so I was just kind of marching around in my little slippers right before they cut open my eyes to fix them. Or
scary.
Doctors, dentists, most of the co-working spaces that I go to, because I like co-working with some of my friends in Tokyo, you have to take your shoes off.
I've never been to offices where you have to take your shoes off.
Really?
I just always keep my...
I'm going to the wrong kind of offices.
I think smaller companies. I don't know. That's my guess. Yeah.
The little companies I've been to have been like smaller or startups. So it's very rude to wear. I mean, right away because there's this little step up and there's slippers there, and you gotta take off your shoes. Yeah. But if you ignored that and you walked with your shoes on inside a house or a doctor's office, like, dude, that's rude. Like, not even, no. And that's just something you get used to. And it keeps the floors cleaner. And then you get to have really fun slippers. that are really
Yeah,
comfortable.
or cute socks as poop hats or anything.
I like having puns on my socks.
I like to wear pink socks to kind of
so beautiful.
surprise people. Like, yeah, bro, I wear pink socks.
You look good in everything.
I have no shame.
Yeah, you don't. I love it. So those were our things that are okay in the United States, but are rude in Japan. If you have any more to add, please put them in the comment section below.
Yeah, help us to understand better.
All right, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. ありがとう。
Bye.
The first time we started dating, Grace always kind of got shy around my parents whenever I tried to kind of hug her or kiss her.
Because I knew it was inappropriate in
Yeah,
your culture,
and
and I wanted your parents to like me.
I wanted to introduce American culture to my parents.
You were just trying to give them heart attacks. Where now they don't even like blink. Like there's literally nothing we can do that would shock them anymore. They're so far just kind of like, oh, it's Grace
I
Manu's kid.
haven't flashed my abs to them.
You walk around the house in underwear sometimes.
I do.
I love you.
So,
Alright, thanks for watching.
yeah, anyway, bye bye.